The socialist regime in Yugoslavia rested on the shoulders of totalitarian ideology of Marshal Tito. Music was and still is an imminent part of our life and lifespan of the nation. Music can challenge the geopolitical situation in the country. An example of that would be rock music. Rock in Yugoslavia in the 1970s promoted official state ideology and iconography, whereas punk challenged the regime. Punk in Yugoslavia was born to influence and challenge the high socialist Yugoslav regime during the 1980s. After the death of Tito, the regime of Yugoslavia has been shattered by the different movements beginning the process of national liberalization. New bands and music introduced the nation to a new element in Yugoslav music and left a long-term effect. New wave movement as well as punk laid a foundation for the new ways of expression by the youth, which criticized and compromised the official image of youth as a nation's future. Punk style goes against the norms of life in communist Yugoslavia. The youth decided they do not want to work anymore, and they want to protest by using an artistic expression of their appearance. Punk movement was almost nihilistic in its nature. It was neither anarchist nor communist. One of the most prominent scenes of punk movement was Ljubljana, that represented a new wave artistic movement. Punk arrived in Ljubljana from the capitalist United Kingdom. Ljubljana was a pioneer in Yugo punk, giving an additional spark for the new wave movement. It represented an influential youth culture that quickly became popular, by also acting as a trigger for political changes in the 1980s. A lot of punk made fun of the communist movement. The language of the ideology was ironized. One of the prominent examples of irony would be a band Pankrti. The irony begins with an album cover, Darling of the State, in which a lead singer kissing boots of the statue. That statue represents Tito. And boot kissing is an ironic message that Pankrti is not going to be bootlickers for Tito or the state itself. There's one very interesting band in Ljubljana that was called Laibach, that started as an avant-garde punk band. Irony begins with the name of the band, as occupying Nazis called Ljubljana Laibach. Many of the Laibach's videos are depicted in dark light and resembles Nazi symbolic. Laibach's aim seemed to expose the totalitarian regime presented in everyday life. The underlying strategy of Laibach is that the system itself must not be taken seriously. Another example of mocking of the socialism was song performed by Idoli Malchiki, where they sing how happy they are living in socialism by actually mocking the state. Art was also a part of punk movement. It tried to depict the state as an occupant of the freedom of people. A good example of poster would be the new Slovenish Kunst art, where a man with a torch is depicted and the text below it says Dan Mladosti, tribute to youth in English. In turn, this poster was drawn from Nazi symbolic. We can see a Nazi flag behind a man that holds a torch. Using the irony in the art, an artist is trying to show what the state regime is no different from the Nazi regime during the occupation. For many years, punk was a prevalent subculture in Yugoslavia that led to the liberalization of the political regime, expansion of the middle class and cultural enrichment of society. The process of liberalization and nationalization led to the disintegration of social Yugoslavia.